Hi everyone, my name is Monae Scott, and I'm a senior Bonner leader at Sewanee, majoring in environment and sustainability with a concentration in environmental justice. I grew up in Washington, D.C., home to the Capitol, White House, and Supreme Court, along with a number of beautiful and iconic museums and monuments. Aside from it being a tourist destination, the nation's capital has a rich history and culture. D.C. is the birthplace of go-go music, mumbo sauce, and the place that popularized New Balance 990s. I attended middle and high school at C Public Charter School in Southeast D.C., where I did theater, ran track, published writing and books, facilitated conversations with students from all over the city, became involved in campaigns, local trash cleanups, and so much more. As I grew older and entered high school, I started to become aware of the injustices that were affecting me, my community, and communities around the world. In my community specifically, I noticed how inaccessible parks and recreational facilities were for people of color, the presence of trash and waste, polluting industries, and the absence of environmental education in DC school systems. In 2018, I participated in Project Soapbox, which is a program that asks young people to speak about issues affecting them and their community. My 2-minute call to action focused on food deserts in Wards 7 and 8 and the access barriers to healthier food options compared to other wards in DC. Realizing how empowered I felt after this experience, I recognized how important it was for me to be an advocate for social justice issues. The same year, I joined a national campaign to support efforts to lower the voting age to 16. I, along with many other passionate young people from the area, gave testimonies on why the voting age should be lowered. Through this campaign, I realized that policy was one of the main ways to create long-lasting impact and change. Although I was actively involved in various initiatives, campaigns, and clubs that valued social justice, I never thought about how these values would play into my career. Ever since I was 4 years old, I knew I wanted to be a veterinarian. I had an intense love for animals and nature, and believed that the only way to be close to the environment was through veterinary medicine. So, after getting the Posse Scholarship and coming to Sewanee, I started on the pre-med track, sure that I was going to major in biology. I was humbled real quick. While I enjoyed biology, I had an extremely hard time memorizing key concepts and vocabulary. I graduated high school as salutatorian and had always excelled in academics, so I could not understand why I was procrastinating and did not feel fulfilled or satisfied with my work. It felt like a part of me was missing, and I had too much time in my hands. Little did I know, I had been living with undiagnosed ADHD. Through my FYP course, I was able to meet Dixon Myers and fundraise for his organization Housing Sewanee, which seeks to build affordable and efficient housing in the Sewanee area. Through conversations with Dixon, I learned that he led an outreach trip to Jamaica every year. After going through the process and being selected for the trip, I found my love for service again. Connecting with people and learning about other cultures made me feel whole, and I knew I needed to find ways to serve again after that experience. A few people I was friends with told me about the Bonner and Canali program, and I took a chance and applied. I became a Canali my sophomore year during COVID, and my site was not able to take me as an intern, so I helped out at other sites pretty frequently. After working at the hospitality shop, I decided to become site leader, and I enjoyed it for the most part, but I didn't feel challenged or fulfilled. After trying to leave the program, deciding that out of my many commitments, it was the one to let go, Robin assured me that I had a place and purpose in this program. So I stayed and eventually became a senior intern. Being a senior intern made me feel like I was making a difference in the program and that I was able to build better relationships and connections with other Bonners and Canalis. The pandemic made it extremely difficult for me to connect with and meet new people since we were advised to social distance and not have large gatherings. Luckily, I was accepted to live as a resident in the community engagement house my sophomore year and had a little community that I could always come home to. I enjoyed living there so much that I decided to apply for co-director the following year. Being the overachiever I am, I was also a shift manager at Sterling's, where I met some of my best friends and decided to become more involved with other outreach programs offered by the Office of Civic Engagement. I went on the New Orleans outreach trip as a junior and led it as a senior. I was also a part of the exploratory trip to Selma with Lauren Goodpaster, Morgan Jennings, Pradeep and Rachel Malday, and Andrea Del Balzo, where we searched for ways to create long-term partnerships and relationships with the community. Outside of my work with the OCE, I have made sure to take advantage of the many opportunities that Sewanee has to offer. I utilized the Career Center and was able to intern in Texas during the pandemic. Crazy, I know. Got funding for my next internship with Green Spaces in Chattanooga. Was recommended for an all-expense-paid trip to Portland, Oregon to connect with CEOs and other leaders focusing on sustainability. And I was a part of the second year of Data Lab, where my team and I analyzed 6 years' worth of acoustic data for bat conservation. Not only was I able to improve my data analysis skills through this project, but I was also able to raise awareness about the importance of bats for our ecosystem and how their absence will affect humans in ways that may not have been previously considered. This experience helped me discover the importance of data science for social good. To continue expanding my knowledge of coding through our studio, I decided to conduct research on the relationship between asthma prevalence in minority communities in DC and green space. I'm currently performing a spatial analysis to map inequities and hope to plot trends over time to see if there is a correlation between higher asthma rates in communities of color and the lack of accessibility to green spaces. These two projects helped me realize my potential as a data scientist, which to me felt far out of my comfort zone. I had never taken any computer science or statistic classes until fairly recently, but I took the chance to learn something new and stick with it, especially after I realized how data is utilized in policymaking. So, I know you're all wondering what's next for me, and the truth is, I don't know. Before starting my undergraduate journey, I did not have the language to explain what environmental injustice was, but I knew that it existed. After taking courses like environmental politics and policy, and anthropology and environmental justice, I was able to learn about the many ways low-income communities and people of color have made space for their concerns to be heard in the environmental movement. Communities have mobilized, educated one another, raised awareness, protested, and demanded policy change for their concerns to be taken seriously. With that being said, I have no doubt that fighting for environmental justice is my passion and purpose. And I hope that one day, my research will be used to strengthen regulations on environmental practices and policies that disproportionately affect people who look like me. I intend for my research to help policymakers make more informed and equitable decisions. Regardless of where I go or what I do next, I know a few things. I will never stop singing or dancing. I will always find a way to make someone laugh. I will never stop smiling. I will never stop fighting for the issues that I love and care about. And lastly, I will never forget all the amazing people I've met, the conversations I've had, and the moments I've shared. Thank you.